Have you ever found yourself looking for answers in all the usual spots, even when you kind of suspect the real insight is somewhere else entirely?
Mm.
It reminds me of this great old Sufi story about Mullah Nasruddin. You know the one? He's down on his hands and knees under street lamps, searching like mad.
Uh,
So a guy walks up and asks, "What are you looking for?" Nasruddin says, "My house key. I lost it." So the man, being helpful, joins the search. After a bit, he asks, "Are you sure you lost it right here?" Nasruddin goes, "Oh no, I lost it over there by my house."
uh-huh. So why look here?
Exactly. The man asks, "Then why are you looking for it here?" And Nasruddin's answer, "Because the light is so much better over here."
Oh, that's brilliant. And yeah, it perfectly captures how we often tackle big, maybe uncomfortable topics, doesn't it? We
Yeah.
stick to the easy, well-lit places.
Right. Instead of where the actual key, the real understanding, might be lying in the shadows.
And that is precisely the kind of trap we want to help you navigate today. We're diving into cultural literacy for religion. Everything the well-educated person should know by Professor Mark Berkson from the Great Courses.
Okay.
Our mission here really is to give you a kind of shortcut, a clearer path to understanding religion more deeply, helping you maybe shed some preconceived ideas and get a genuinely informed perspective.
A shortcut. I like that. Especially for something as huge and, let's face it, often misunderstood as religion.
Exactly. It's about helping you look for that key where it actually dropped, even if the light isn't quite as convenient.
So let's get into it. What's the first sort of big insight Professor Berkson offers? Why is understanding religion so important to begin with?
Well, the first really profound idea Berkson puts forward is this. Religion isn't just, some aspect of human culture. It's absolutely fundamental to who we are as a species.
Fundamental. How so?
He argues that, look, we call ourselves Homo Sapiens, the beings that know or think. But he says we can just as easily call ourselves Homo Religiosus.
Homo Religiosus. Religious man.
Exactly. Because religious behavior, it's as old as our species itself. This isn't something that just popped up recently.
Wow. Homo Religiosus. That really lands differently. Is there, like, solid evidence for that claim that it's really that old?
Oh, absolutely. He points to some pretty compelling archaeological finds. For instance, human skeletons found in a cave in Israel, dating back around 100,000 years.
100,000 years?
Yeah. And these skeletons were stained with red ochre and surrounded by what we call grave goods, things like animal bones, seashells.
So not just burying the dead, but something more.
Precisely. It strongly suggests ritual. It hints at a belief in an afterlife, some kind of connection to something beyond the everyday, the immediate. It seems woven into our earliest existence.
That's genuinely mind-boggling. 100,000 years. It really drives home that religion isn't some niche interest. It's core human stuff.
It is. And that deep history, that ubiquity, is exactly why studying it is so vital. Because this force, religion, has produced, well, some of the most extreme examples of both good and evil in human history.
Extremes. Okay, like what?
Think about it.
Mm.
On one hand, you have selfless sacrifice, profound love, massive social justice movements, incredible art and beauty, inspiring stuff.
Right.
But on the other hand, bigotry, closed-mindedness, violence, even mass murder, all fueled or justified
Right.
by religious belief at different times.
Oh.
So Bergson's point is, any force with that kind of power, that kind of consistent impact across millennia, it just demands careful study and reflection. You can't ignore it.
That spectrum is staggering. Selflessness to mass murder. It makes you wonder, is religion just sort of amplifying what's already in human nature? Or does it have something inherent that leads to those extremes?
That's a really sharp question. And I think Bergson would argue it's more than just an amplifier. It's a framework. Religious worldviews offer these comprehensive answers about, reality, purpose, how to live.
Provide certainty, maybe?
Exactly. That clarity and certainty can be incredibly empowering. It can inspire amazing acts of good. But tragically, if that framework is interpreted narrowly or, exclusively, it can also be used to justify terrible things.
So understanding the framework itself is key.
It's crucial to understand the outcomes, both positive and negative.
Okay, so religion is ancient, it's everywhere, and it's incredibly powerful. Got it. But how does that translate to, like, our daily lives right now? For someone listening who wants that shortcut, what's the immediate payoff?
The immediate relevance. It's huge, actually. It directly impacts how we understand our world, our country, and maybe most importantly, our neighbors.
Our neighbors. How so?
Well, Bergson really highlights the growing religious diversity, especially in places like the U.S. He uses his own city, St. Paul, Minnesota, as an example.
Okay.
He describes being just a short drive away from mosques, Buddhist meditation centers, one of the largest Hindu temples in America, Orthodox, conservative, and Reformed Jewish synagogues, and numerous Christian churches from a wide variety of denominations.
Wow. That is quite the mix, all in one place.
Right. It's a vivid picture of modern life in many places. And it's not just diversity between different faiths anymore, it's also diversity within them.
What do you mean?
He points out that in the same community, you might find Thai Buddhists, Chinese Buddhists, Japanese, Tibetan Buddhists living side by side. That kind of mixing within a single tradition rarely happened historically in most parts of the world.
Huh. Never really thought about that internal diversity aspect. It's true, though, isn't it? Religion seems woven into everything, sometimes in ways we don't even notice.
Absolutely, even secular-seeming things. Think about people talking about parking karma, or going to yoga classes, or using mindfulness meditation for stress reduction, or even sports training.
Yeah, I've definitely thanked the universe for a good parking spot.
Oh.
Guilty.
See, those concepts have deep roots in religious traditions, even if we use them casually now. It's just permeated our culture.
It really has.
And because it's so pervasive, Berkson argues we need to cultivate this deeper cultural literacy about religion. It's not just about being polite, though that's part of it. It's practical. It's essential for, well, civic life.
How is it essential for civic life?
Think about it practically. You're invited into a neighbor's home. Understanding something about their religious objects, maybe dietary rules or certain rituals, it just makes interactions smoother, more respectful.
Okay, that makes sense. Avoid awkward moments.
And he goes deeper. He cites the sociologist Robert Wuthnow, who found that Americans in minority religions, Buddhists, Hindus, Muslims, often feel frustrated. They wish to be understood, not merely tolerated.
Understood, not just tolerated. That's a powerful distinction.
It is. And Wuthnow says their distress often comes from the exasperating ignorance of their fellow citizens. Ouch.
Ouch is right. So this literacy isn't just about being nice. It's about basic respect and maybe bridging some real divides in society. It sounds like pretty high-stakes literacy, actually.
It absolutely is. Remember Thomas Jefferson? He famously warned, if a nation expects to be ignorant and free in a state of civilization, it expects what never was and never will be.
Right. Ignorance and freedom don't mix.
And Berkson basically extends that logic to religious literacy. For a diverse, democratic society to function, to thrive, citizens need to have some understanding of the major forces shaping their communities, including religion. It's almost a prerequisite.
Okay, that's incredibly clear. The societal need is huge. But what about, the personal level? How does studying religion help me understand myself? It feels so external sometimes. What's the shortcut to, inner clarity?
This is where it gets really fascinating and potentially very personal. And Berkson stresses that this applies to everyone, religious or not, believer or atheist, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Because religious traditions, at their heart, are the primary places where humanity has grappled with the biggest, most fundamental questions of existence.
The big questions.
Like, what is ultimate reality? What even is a self? How do we make sense of death? How should I live my life? What gives life meaning? The small stuff.
Yeah, just the easy ones.
Exactly. These are questions we all have to wrestle with if we want to live what Berkson, quoting Socrates, calls an examined life.
So studying religion isn't just about learning facts about what other people believe.
Not at all.
It's about engaging with these ancient, ongoing conversations that help us figure out our own place in the world, our own answers.
Precisely. It gives you the chance to think through these profound questions alongside some of the greatest minds and texts from across cultures and history. It shouldn't just be academic, sitting in an armchair.
Right.
Berkson calls for an existential encounter, trying to get an imaginative insider's perspective. Even if you're completely secular, engaging with these traditions helps you see your own values, your own assumptions in a new light. You start to understand the historical currents that have shaped how we all think about these things.
An existential encounter. That sounds intense, but I can see how that would be a powerful path to self-discovery. A shortcut, maybe, by learning from millennia of human searching.
Yeah, it's a great way to put it.
Okay, this is all really compelling, but it brings up a huge question, one I know I've struggled with. What exactly is religion? Is there even one definition? Because if you ask 10 people, you'll probably get 10 different answers.
You've nailed the big definitional headache. Scholars wrestle with this constantly. Berkson explains there are basically two main approaches. First, substantive definitions.
Substantive, meaning?
Meaning they try to define what religion is in its essence. Often, they focus on belief in God or supernatural beings.
But that runs into problems pretty quickly, right? Like with Buddhism.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Some major traditions, like certain schools of Buddhism, don't center on a creator God figure, so substantive definitions can be too narrow.
Okay, so what's the other approach?
Functional definitions. These focus on what religion does, how it functions in society, or for individuals, like binding people into communities, providing meaning, offering moral codes.
That sounds broader, more inclusive maybe.
It is, but Berkson points out it can become too broad. His example is hilarious. By some functional definitions, you could argue that devoted fans of the Boston Red Sox qualify as a religion.
Oh, okay, yeah. They have rituals, shared beliefs, intense community, but probably not what we mean by religion.
Probably not. So, given these problems, Berkson advocates for a different approach, one that's become quite influential, the family resemblance approach.
Family resemblance, like people in a family look alike but not identically.
Precisely. He uses that exact metaphor. Imagine lining up 5 family members. Maybe 4 share the same nose, a different 4 have the same cheekbones, 3 have the same hair color, and so on.
Oh, okay.
There might not be one single feature that all 5 share, but there's a set of common features distributed among them. You see the resemblance across the group.
That makes intuitive sense. So the idea is that religions don't need one single defining trait, but share a cluster of overlapping characteristics. Is that the core insight?
That's the takeaway, exactly. Religions share a pool of common features, but no single religion needs to have all of them.
What kinds of features are in this cluster?
Oh, things like a belief in supernatural beings, maybe ritual acts focused on sacred objects, often a total worldview explaining reality and our place in it. Also, typically an explanation for suffering and evil, some kind of means of liberation or salvation.
Okay.
Plus, often ceremonies involving music and dance, usually authoritative scriptures and specialists who interpret them. It's the list like that.
So going back to Zen Buddhism.
It might not have a belief in God, Berkson notes, but it has most of the other elements, which is enough for us to reasonably call it a religion using this family resemblance idea. It allows for diversity while still seeing common patterns.
That's actually really helpful. And does this idea apply to understanding a specific tradition too? Like what makes someone Christian or Buddhist?
Yes, it extends beautifully there too. Berkson makes a fascinating point. A tradition isn't necessarily defined by everyone agreeing on everything. Far from it.
Oh, so it's not about shared beliefs.
Not solely. He argues it's more about ongoing conversations, often debates and arguments, about things to which all members are committed.
Committed to arguing about the same things.
Kind of. Think about Christians. They might argue endlessly about how to interpret Jesus, the New Testament, the Trinity, faith, sin, salvation, communion, all those core commitments.
Right. Lots of disagreement within Christianity.
Exactly. Or Buddhists debating the nature of the Buddha, the meaning of the sutras, the path to enlightenment, karma. They are all deeply engaged with, committed to those specific topics.
So the coherence comes from what they're debating about, the shared points of reference, not necessarily from agreeing on the answers.
Precisely. The shared commitment to the conversation is the tradition, in a way.
This is genuinely lighting up some light bulbs for me, especially that idea about internal debate being part of a tradition, not a weakness. But it also makes me think about how challenging this kind of deep engagement must be. Professor Berkson himself says something like, maybe the unexamined life is not worth living, but the examined life is no picnic either.
Right, he does. It's a great line.
And he even tells that riddle.
Yeah.
What was it? What's the difference between going to a doctor and a religion professor?
Oh, yes. When you go to the doctor with a pain, he gives you something to make you feel better.
Right. But you go to the religion professor feeling pretty good.
And leave with pains that you didn't know you had.
Exactly. It sounds like really digging into this stuff, trying to genuinely empty your cup, as he puts it, could be, well, difficult.
Yeah.
Unsettling even. That doesn't sound much like a simple shortcut.
You've hit the nail on the head. It is a challenge. And Berkson is very upfront about that and connects directly to that famous Zen story he shares.
The tea story.
Yeah, the scholar visits the Zen master, goes on and on about his own knowledge of Zen. The master just quietly pours tea into the scholar's cup and keeps pouring until it overflows.
Right, making a mess.
And the scholar yells, "Stop, it's full, no more will go in." And the master replies, "Like this cup, you are full of your own opinions and speculations. How can I show you Zen unless you first empty your cup?"
So the discomfort, the pains are part of emptying the cup.
That's the idea. It's not meant to be easy, but it's meant to be profoundly rewarding. The goal isn't just to collect facts, but to set aside those preconceived notions, what Zen teachers call having a beginner's mind, to truly encounter the subject, to see it fresh.
But that riddle, leaving with more pains, why would anyone sign up for that? It sounds like the opposite of finding clarity.
Well, think about what those pains might be. They're the growing pains of understanding. It's the discomfort that comes from questioning your own assumptions, from seeing the world or even your own beliefs in a new, maybe more complex way.
So it's not literal pain, but intellectual.
Exactly. It's the discomfort of realizing things aren't as simple as you thought. It's part of achieving that appreciative understanding. Berkson talks about grasping a tradition's internal logic, seeing it from the inside, even if you don't personally agree with it.
Appreciative understanding.
Okay. He says his goal is to make the strange familiar and the familiar strange. Taking things you don't know and making them understandable, yes, but also taking things you think you know, maybe your own background, and revealing facets you never noticed before.
Making the familiar strange. I like that. It implies there's always more to discover, even close to home.
Absolutely. That pain is the feeling of your worldview expanding. The necessary friction for intellectual and personal growth. It reveals new dimensions. It's not comfortable, maybe, but it's where the real learning happens.
So maybe the shortcut isn't about avoiding difficulty, but about finding the right kind of difficulty, the kind that leads to genuine insight.
I think that's a fantastic way to put it. It's a map through challenging but ultimately very rewarding territory. So if you take away just one thing from our deep dive today, let it be this. Cultivating religious literacy, getting familiar with the basic teachings, symbols, practices, founders, institutions, values of the world's major religious traditions, it's not just some dusty academic thing.
Right.
It's really an essential first step. It's like getting a map to help navigate our incredibly diverse world and, just as importantly, your own inner life. It helps you better understand the world, your country, your neighbors, and, yeah, yourself.
I really love that map analogy. It makes something that feels so huge and complex seem, well, navigable, exciting even with the potential for those growing pains. This has definitely opened my eyes to how tangled up religion is with, well, everything around us and inside us. It really is a reminder that seeing clearly sometimes means looking beyond the easy answers, beyond that convenient street lamp, and searching for the key where it actually fell, even if it takes a bit more effort.
Well said.
So if you're as intrigued as I am by all this and want to really dive deeper into Professor Berkson's insights, definitely check out his full course. It's called Cultural Literacy for Religion, Everything the Well-Educated Person Should Know, part of the Great Courses. We'll put links in the show notes for you.
And we genuinely love to hear your thoughts. After listening today, what's maybe one aspect of religion that felt strange but now feels a bit more familiar? Or perhaps what's something you thought was familiar that now seems surprisingly strange? Let us know in the comments.